welcome everyone, and hopefully we could take care of the people's business and get out of here on time. I don't, for, yeah, at least this is our summer recess. And pretty soon our fiscal year will start in October, so this is close to our end of the year. In terms of, so we will have roll call, Madam Clerk, and then we'll go into pledge of allegiance by Assistant Chief Donald Blanchard of the North Miami Police Department, and then we will have Pastor Amos Jean of Philadelphia Baptist Church with the invocation. We'll proceed from there.
7:17 p.m. Mayor Alex Desume.
Present.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin.
Present.
Councilman Scott Galvin.
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy.
Here.
Councilman Pierre French Charles.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Pledge.
Please stand for the pledge. Place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your kindness and in bringing us all together today. Though we may not know what this meeting holds, we know that you know. As we begin, Lord, help us to keep your word in mind. Guide our mayor, our councilman, and staff as they meet and discuss matters with regard to our city. When they are undecided, please lead them in your wisdom. When their opinions may disagree, help them to remain respectful to one another. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor Amos. And now, Madam Manager, any addition, deletion, amendment, referral to the agenda?
No, sir.
Thank you so much. We have several presentations tonight, so we're going to go down. We have a presentation by Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy. We have another presentation by our Finance Department, as well as our Budget Quarterly Report. And also the CAFR, which is the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report of the city. So let's just go down for the first one, and then we'll come back.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, do you want me to just go?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy, and today it's an honor to present Mr. Willard Shepard with this proclamation from the beautiful city of North Miami. Willard Shepard is a 6-time Emmy award-winning journalist. He's an attorney and a Gulf War fighter. And after over 2 decades in the newsroom, he has retired and has ventured on to the law firm. And of course, you're an investigator, you're an attorney. And personally, I know Mr. Shepard because while I used to serve as PIO, he was probably one of the most unbiased reporter that we've had during our police-involved shooting. You were very supportive. You reported very accurately throughout my tenure in the city. And of course, now that I'm here, you have always been a proud supporter of our community. And I thank you because, you know, it's hard sometimes getting positive media attention for your local elected officials and, of course, in the city of North Miami. And if I could just read just a little bit more from your bio. He's an investigative reporter. He has legal skills to develop broadcasts on police reform, law enforcement policies and procedures. He has uncovered fraud and revealed progressive innovation in private business and government. And he also does He also does daily travel on finance, home, credit, and health during the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, for the presidential campaign, he not only delivered the views of the candidate for the White House, but also brought insightful reports on the legal challenges and followed. And on this day in the beautiful city of North Miami, it is an honor to proclaim it as Willard Shepard Esquire Day in the city of North Miami, as we honor you and celebrate all your years of service and all that you've done here in our community in the city of North Miami. And I thank you, our council thank you, and we honor you today.
I'll be brief so you can continue running the city's business. My wife is always with me no matter what time of the day or night people call for help, and we try to do that. So, Taina, thank you. My sister's been through everything with me. I always say my older sister by a little bit. So I always say I've never been to Iraq, just over it, which is a good thing. But my sister and my mother and my family lived through those times, along with my brother-in-law, who I appreciate, and his cousin Monique with me, and my law partner now, Brett Rifkin, and his wife Lisa, who are North Miami residents. There we go. We pay our water bill here in North Miami. It's for our public works director. Oh, that's all good. And Scott and all his work that he's done with the Police Athletic League. With the police department. I'm a boxer, so I used to train over at the gym and do all of those things. And now my sister, this is her second day as a Florida resident, so I'm going to bring her to see the lights of North Miami. And the last thing I really want to leave with you is we live in a time where there's so much division in our country. The only people who can actually get anything done and actually really serve their communities, and the mission why you're all here is here in North Miami and our other local jurisdictions that can actually make a difference. And I want you to carry that with you all the time and take the motto that we live with in our home. And that is, those who toil in the darkness with dedication and determination, when nobody's watching, shine the brightest when the lights come on. So remember that, carry that with you. Your math students that are interested in flying airplanes, please bring them over and reach out to me, because our Civil Air Patrol program, we take the kids on the rides and they can go flying. And we have 3 new cadets from this area who are now in survival school out at the Air Force Academy. I convinced them to go. I'm not sure what their thoughts are about me at this particular moment. So God bless you and thank you very much. My family and I are honored and humbled that you have done this today. She's way better looking than me. Come on, Brett. Come on, Brett. Come on. Here we go.
Next to Scott. We have
Hey, you got the math kids, man, doing the thing. Sure. They get 5 rides. Yes. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm ready.
He said, ready, we're done.
That's my age, Scott. So you're talking, yeah. That's not. Thank you so much. We have several presentation, and we are going to start with the finance presentation, the quarterly report.
All right. Good evening, Miguel Augustin, Finance Director. And this evening I will present the second quarter cash report. It's the report dated March 30th of 2023.
Maybe it's online.
Do you have a copy of this, Madam Manager? Do we have a copy of this one or no?
It's here, but I don't know which.
No, it's only the AFR. It's
Oh.
up here. Okay.
Well, we had sent it earlier. I'm not sure if you have a copy of it, but. Well, I'll go through the report. The report presents the balances as of March 31st, 2023.
Hold on. Hold on, we're trying to get a copy of these reports, for all three. Did we miss some? Yeah, we don't have none of them.
All we have is the conditional use permit and the AFR report. Let me make sure.
Is Patricia or Chanel? Anisha,
I can't see those numbers up here.
who's doing the time keeping? You getting it? You have it? You don't have it either?
I do not.
The cash flow we do. Okay, go ahead, Miguel, and save the time. We'll, go ahead. It's on the
Proceed.
screen, guy.
Okay. Okay, so like I said, the report presents the balances in the cash accounts and the bank accounts for the city from comparing March 31st to December 31st of 2022, which was the quarter prior. The daily investment account had a balance of $60,264,000 compared to $78 million at December 31st. That's a difference of $18 million. I'll go through the change as to why that big change from quarter to quarter, but primarily it's a result of the transfer of funds from the city's general account to the CRA for the TIF revenues that were collected. That's the main reason. The utility account is the account used to store the balances for customers when they open their utility accounts. That account stays the same throughout the year. We only make changes at the end of the year when we compare the balances collected and the deposits remitted back to people who close their accounts at the end of the fiscal year. The flexible spending account is the AFLAC account. That's a third-party account that we use for AFLAC, people who have that benefit. The activity in that account is about $30,000 compared to $26,000 the previous quarter. Not a very big change, but that's as a result of activity related to people filing claims and using the benefit. Same is true for the replacement benefit plan. That account is an account that we use to account for an excess benefit that was afforded to a prior city manager. Mr. Mark Collins, that's way back. But there's a provision that he gets because he was not able to participate in the pension plan. He gets this extra benefit. And the difference in the account is, as you can see, from quarter to quarter is about $600. And we pay that, we fund the account at the beginning of the year, and we pay the excess benefit on a monthly basis to him. The lockbox account at Wells Fargo, as you can see, that balance was $16,000 compared to $28,000. That is the account used to collect funds from the utility payments when people make payments through the mail. The activity in the account, or the balance in the account, I should say, is a result of what was remaining at the end of the month. Because as funds come in, they're swept out of the account and into the main investment account. So in essence, it's a zero balance account, but depending on when the timing of these sweeps happen, these are the balances that remain at the end of the month. The John Eastern account is this is also at Wells Fargo. It's managed by our third-party administrator for workers' comp. That account is funded as needed, and as claims are made against the account, they're paid out of the account, and we fund it back to a certain impressed balance as the balance is drawn down. The restricted account is the funds where we've taken some of the cash from the main investment account and put into Wells Fargo, mainly just to get some better interest. That's where we have some of the funds from the Gwen Margolis sale. We put those funds in there until we're ready to use it, so that we can get some earnings on that account. The City National account, as you can see, that's 5.9 million. The change is essentially just interest that was earned. This account is used to fund the remediation of the landfill for the Munisport site, the Sulimia site. There hasn't been any activity in terms of claims or remediation done, so that's why the account balance is just a reflection of the interest earned over the quarter. The investments are the First Horizon Bank certificates of deposit, 500,000 and $1 million respectively. Those balances are consistent. We get the interest every month. When the interest is earned, they send the interest to the city. So that balance just represents the amount that's in the city in the CD until it matures. The Florida Prime SBA account, 6.9 million versus 6.8. The 80,000 represents interest that was earned over that quarter. And the Truist account, that is a CD that we're actually trying to close out. It dates back all the way to 2009. It originally was 800,000. It's 840,000. We're trying to get those funds out of there to get some better returns. So the changes in the operating account, like I said, it was 18 million. Just quickly, I'm not going to go through all the inflows and outflows. But in January, there's a net cash outflow of 18.4 million. And like I said, that was primarily a result of the transfer of funds from the main operating account to the CRA. That's essentially the difference. The rest of the months, February, there was a $495,000 difference between the inflows and the outflows. Not very much different from what we typically see on average. Same with March, except March had more activity, mainly because there were some projects out that the city has engaged in, and the inflows were more than normal because of utility payments. Okay, so in this chart here, we have just comparing the second quarter over the years, just so you could see how the balance has changed. If you just look at the daily investment account, as I said last March, the balance was 60 million. Compared to the year before, it was 49 million, 49.9, and the year before that, 2021, it was 34 million. So those funds are largely in part a result of the funds that we received from the ARPA. There's also been collections as well with a lot of our utility accounts. The chart here, just a little bit of context over time, just the balance of the operating account over time, how it's gone through ebbs and flows. As you can see, the most current quarter, the balance is near as high as it's ever been, but we have to be mindful that this is a result of, in large part, because of the one-time monies we got as well from the federal government. All right, that's all I have. If any questions?
Yes, I have a few. And I think this might be for the manager, as we do have a lot of presentation tonight. From what I just saw, this was the first quarter. What quarter are we in now? Are we in the second or the third? Because okay, so
Yeah.
so the second quarter is from what to what date?
The second quarter, well, should I answer?
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
Second quarter is from January to March.
Okay, so the quarter, what I'm trying to get to, the quarter from March, April, and May, in June, which I'm thinking that the quarterlies are 3 months. So right now, a quarter just ended.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I just want. So are we behind or we are actually on time?
We
in
are
terms
on
of this?
time. We
Okay,
will
just
receive the
wanted to
presentation.
clarify that because if you're looking out in the public, we're in July and this is, okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Question?
Okay, any, Vice Mayor? You good? Commissioner, you good? Councilman? Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Well, if you allow me,
Oh,
thank you
go
for
ahead,
your
go ahead.
presentation. Are there any concerns or anything that you want to state on the record based on this report?
No, just to caution that we are in a good cash position right now, but it's something that we have to be cautious with. We're in this position because we got a lot of one-time money from the federal government. So we have to be mindful that, yes, we have a small amount of cash now, but if we want to grow it, we have to be disciplined about how we go about spending it.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you.
Just one question. I know that there was an RFP for changing banking services. We haven't changed our banking services, or they remain the same?
Correct. The bank is still Bank of America.
Okay.
We have received proposals, it's still in the cone of silence,
Oh, okay.
but we have not started the evaluation
So
process.
we're looking at other options that may yield, higher interest and so forth. Okay, just wanted to
Yes.
make sure. Thank you.
So,
If I,
Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, if I may quickly, you put a question mark on we have to be very careful in our spending. Now, as a manager, what does that mean to you? And now, Miguel said that we have to, we have a little bit of cash flow. Well, we have a little bit of cash flow now, and he added we have to be very careful in our expenditure so that we don't get in trouble soon. And looking at it, when you said we have to be very careful, I just want a little bit of clarification on that as of what we should not, we should not do in.
well, as you know, prior to the past couple of fiscal years, we were in a fiscal deficit, and for a while, a cash deficit as well. I don't know if you remember, it's probably before your time, but in 2019, the general fund actually had to borrow cash from the Water and Sewer Fund to be able to sustain itself because it was low on cash.
And we didn't know, just clarification. The council, we didn't know.
Oh, well, so we presented those results as part of the 2019 annual financial report, and I don't want to say we were fortunate because it was a pandemic after all, but because of the pandemic, we were able to get the federal funds, the 20 million, the 19 point something million, something that really never happens. The federal government doesn't just usually just send money, but because of the pandemic, we were able to benefit from that allocation. We also had a couple of capital asset sales, which we were able to buttress some of the cash needs as well, right? So the way we got into that situation is by spending more than we take in, right? That's just over time. It happens over time. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens over time with the budget being overspent and expending what our resources are. So I say that to say that going forward, if we keep that in mind, because it's very easy to get back in a situation like that if the spending exceeds the revenues. So just putting it out there, because it was very recent that we were in a situation where we were cash poor. for all intents and purposes, in the general fund. They took it down, but I showed you the graph where the balance not too long ago was quite low. It was down to 20-something million overall. Now we're at 60 million. That's a big difference. But I want to say that as quickly as we get up there, it could disappear as quickly if we're not mindful of that. That's the point I was making.
All right, so meaning that we gotta be kind of mindful of what we're doing and how we move, and just to make sure that we don't go down on the red. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
All right.
Took some good note. Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
think Councilman Governor, you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick one. I heard a good social media story coming out of your mouth right there. Did you just say that we have 60 million in reserve?
No.
No.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yes,
That's why I asked for clarification.
No, the balance in the operating account is 60 million.
Hold on. If you laugh through it, I can't hear it again a second time. Say it again, please.
Sorry. So the balance in the daily investment account was 60 million. Right now, it's about 58 million.
Okay.
Right
That's
now.
the cash we have in the
That's the
bank.
cash.
And you said not long ago that was 20 million.
Right. So back, I showed the balance in March of 2021. That balance was 34.
So how we got that fast?
Yeah, how did we close that gap?
Well, it was because we got the money from the feds and we had the land sale.
Okay.
Had the
And
what?
we also had the sale of the Gwen Margo.
Oh, the land sales. Okay.
Yes.
The Oaks, right? The Royal Oaks, that's
The
what
Royal
cleared
Oaks,
the
right.
previous deficit, that was, yeah. And then we just had the ARPA deficit.
Thank you for
COVID
the
deficit.
clarification, so I didn't put out a tweet
Or a
and tag
thread.
y'all in it.
Or a thread.
Or a thread. I'm threading.
All right. That's it. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, for the presentation, Ms. Indira Badasi is our Assistant Director. She's been with us for a month, working with Ms. Vivian Council. This is her first appearance.
Welcome.
Put your feet to the fire. Thanks.
What's her name, please? I'm sorry?
Indira.
Indira.
Hi,
Okay,
Indira.
thank you. How you doing?
Good. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Indira Badesi, Assistant Budget Director. And tonight, through the City Manager, we will be presenting the city's fiscal year 2022-2023 second quarter report that covers the periods from October 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023. For general fund revenues, the total general fund revenues collections for the period were at 56%, mainly due to property taxes received since taxpayers take advantage of the discount offered by paying early. Charges for services and other taxes such as local option gas, franchise, communication service, and waste collection tax are normally received 1 to 2 months after they are due. For general fund expenses by departments, overall as a city, we are currently at 50%, which is exactly where we need to be. City manager's office is at 59% due to payout to the former city manager.
What? Wait. Okay, go ahead. Oh, 59%. What council?
Police department expenses include a one-time pension cost that was fully paid during the first quarter of the year. Non-departmental reflects ARPA reimbursements not posted until after the quarter ended. City clerk, IT, OMB, and purchasing expenses lowered due to a delay in hiring positions. General fund expenses by category. Personnel services include a one-time employee pension expense fully charged during the first quarter. Capital expenses are lower than budget due to capital projects being in the design phase. Lastly, grants expense reflect most grant allocations incurred during this period.
And reserves reflect the ARPA reimbursement that will be recognized during the next quarter. Enterprise funds, which includes water and sewer, water fire flow demand, and stormwater revenues, are recognized when customers pay their utility bills. For special revenue funds, which includes federal housing grants, they are usually reimbursed after expenses have been incurred. For transportation funds, these revenues are received 2 months in arrears. The internal service fund includes risk management that receives revenues from departments to cover the cost of premiums and administrative charges for claims. Fleet management budgets include last year's fund balance to cover the cost of vehicle and maintenance. And lastly, our pension loan repayment is allocated to departments, and the expense will be posted at the end of the year.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh.
This was for your first meeting, Mr. Dura. Ms. Dura, I have one question. I'm sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. In the page is not numbered, but the one with the percentages, my first question to you, and I think Councilman Galvin, that's a tweet that the council office is at 50%, so we on track, which is good. But my question to you would be, I'm trying to find the page with the percentages. Okay, right here.
The third page?
The page, the general fund report, the budget from the general fund. We know that it's right now that it's supposed to be 50%, and all the departments are doing amazingly. And I think you say one of the department that was below, it was due to not hiring staff. In terms of the department there's one area, I think Parks and Rec is over at 52%, non-departmental. Is that the general fund? That's at that 14%, is that normally where that number would be right now, currently?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then the last one is, I think that's basically it. There's another 20-something percent. Okay. Budget is okay, perfect. Purchasing, okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you.
I have a question as well. So just to reiterate, so you mentioned that the departments that had the lower percentage was due to lack of personnel, right?
Right.
So for information technology, what is the position that, can I know what position that needs to be filled or hasn't been filled?
The assistant director. There was an IT analyst that is currently vacant, and there's another position that's currently vacant, but I don't have that information on hand. I'll get back to you through the city manager.
Okay,
The
sure.
assistant director
Purchasing,
Is it the assistant director position? Yeah, because we don't have an AD in IT.
okay. What about for purchasing? What position needed to be filled?
Yeah, like every position was vacant up until
In
this
purchasing?
week.
Every
Yes,
position?
Except Alberto.
Oh, my God, you are by yourself,
yeah.
Alberto?
Yes.
Oh, my.
And for the record, since we're talking about Alberto, he's been poaching staff from other departments. He hasn't
I.e.
hired
We
from
sent you
outside.
Rosa.
I know, she
Yeah.
just started.
Oh,
But he's
Okay.
been recruiting
He
from
needs more?
within other departments. So he now has buyers and
Anisha.
purchasers and so on, and a contract compliance administrator.
So now it's fully, that department is fully staffed?
He has one
It's
more
just one more
vacancy.
vacancy?
Mhm.
Okay. So what about for social services? What was the position that was
it's
vacant?
not position, it's,
Personnel, or why was the percentage?
if I may, Madam Manager, from my understanding, the previous year with this one, because of HUD, that's part of the reason. It's not necessarily at the vacant, but the way HUD allocation works and the grants that we get from HUD.
Right, Vice Mayor, through the manager, just for clarification, when you look at the percentages, it's not only personnel, this is the
Right.
total budget for that personnel
that-
and operating expenses.
Okay.
In fact, and it's noted down here, their personnel was higher than expected, so it's HUD then. It's the housing.
And I also noticed that community planning, is there also, what is the, that's also personnel or?
There's
What is the
several
position that is
vacancies.
vacant?
The assistant director, all of them, the zoning manager, yeah, they have at least, I think, 4 vacancies.
CP&D's on life support right
And
now.
these positions are posted for, so I hope the people that are listening, that are North Miami resident in particular, if you qualify, please. Okay, and budget, I understand budget, that's fine. Okay.
I just have one question. How much of this budget did we include ARPA funds? Is it the 4.1 that was budgeted in this budget?
So ARPA funds it's a grant, so it's not a part of the general fund in this chart. So
But we use ARPA funds in this budget, so how much of ARPA funds were used?
That is correct. That is correct. We did use ARPA funds to balance the budget, the total budget. I do believe, in my recollection, it's about 2.7,
1.7.
1.7.
Okay. And then we are projected to use how much in next year? And how much are we projected to use next year?
The balance of the ARPA money is 1.785, which is going to be used to fill the gap for the 23-24 budget.
But how much was used in this current budget?
In this current budget, I do believe the number is 2.7, but I can verify for you.
Okay, that just goes back to Councilman Charles's question for Miguel, with the one-time recurring funding, as we're looking to find ways in the budget. You know, our budget workshop is tomorrow for those who want to attend virtually, as we're looking for a funding mechanism to cure our over expenditures. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right. CAFA, the comprehensive report.
Our auditor, Mr. Brunson, is here with his team.
What's the presentation now?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Senior Management, citizens of North Miami. I'm Tony Brunson with Anthony Brunson, PA, and your audit report is 180-plus pages. So our
Start with
intent
page-
is to
start with page
summarize
1.
that. Double-sided, by the way.
10.5.
We're going to summarize it in the PowerPoint presentation, which gives an overview of the audit process, the results, and some of the operational information. So, with that. Okay, scope of the examination. For the past cycle, I believe it's up on your screens, and you should have a handout, hopefully. Consistent with past years, we do the audit pursuant to generally accepted auditing standards. There are government auditing standards as well, and we list these major governmental funds. These were the funds that got the special attention, or do get special attention during the audit process. And as you see there, it's the General Fund, CRA, CDBG Entitlement Fund. We do something with the landfill closure and the American Rescue Plan Act that's got some conversation here today. We also do a review of the internal controls governing the financial operations, as well as compliance with laws and regulations. As you know, many of the funds have certain restrictions, so we not only look at the internal controls, we also be sure that you're compliant with the laws in spending those dollars. Compliance with uniform guidance. The old term was single audit, so now it's called uniform guidance. So we do compliance with federal programs, state programs, as well as other contractual agreements. So that references the Florida Auditor General's there, as well as a data collection form is a part of the scope, and that data collection form kind of captures all the federal spending and how it was spent, and that's the form used to electronically remit that information to the government. So the next slide talks about the significant audit results, and very positive note, unmodified audit opinion of the financial statements. That means you're satisfying all of the industry standards. There were no findings in the internal control environment or compliance with any of the uniform guidance, which again,
means you satisfied all of those standards. There are no current year reportable conditions as well. So, it's really a credit to your team in respect to that not being there. That not being any current year information. But there were 2 repeat findings that we'll talk about in the past and 1 management letter comment. GASB 87,
I'm sorry. From the PowerPoint that we had in my meeting, I had 3 repeat findings. Did it change?
Well, it's 2 and 1.
Oh, 2
It's
and
two
1, okay.
Yeah. It's just how they're categorized.
Okay.
So GASB 87 is one of the major industry issues this year. Deals with leases. And historically, what's happened, if you think of leases, you pay as you go, and it was usually an operating cost. The GASB made you capitalize now all these leases, so now they're shown as assets and liabilities in your balance sheets. Okay? As a result of that, we got the statement of net position, and you can see the change over the years. Again, very positive. We've gone from 140 million in overall assets to over $178 million. And a big part of that, you heard the big increase in cash for a variety of reasons. And the other big part of that is the capital asset growth, purchases of assets for the city. Okay, our liabilities, as you can see, remain pretty consistent. 96 million last year, it's 96 million this year, so there's a minimal change in that. The impact was really some of this GASB 87 issues that we're speaking about, offset by some of the pension obligations of the city. So it did not grow is the bottom line. You see this net deferred outflows and inflows. That's totally related to pension activities of the city, OPEB activities. The pensions, if you understand inflows, outflows, these days it's really deferrals into the future. So it has no current year impact. Positive news, you see the net position, overall net position of the city went from 43 million to over $61 million. So that's an $18 million increase, 40%. So city certainly some very positive outcomes there. These are the governmental activities. The next slide provides the position of the proprietary activities, which is your water and sewer and the other enterprise funds. And as you can see, it's pretty consistent when we look at that side of the activity with the city. 96 million last year, in 2021, a little more than 96.9 million in the current year. So again, the asset base is consistent with the past. Liabilities have gone down from 21 million to 19 million, right? We're paying off some of those obligations. Inflows and outflows, again, are impacted by pension and these other GASB 87 corrections. And lastly, you can see the net position held true. So last 2021, it was 73.3 million, and this year 76.3 and 76.4. So again, it's maintaining its net position. Okay, this slide provides an overview of the revenues of the city. And as you see those percentages, it is a percentage of the overall revenues that are there. And below it, you can actually measure the changes. So for instance, we're looking at our charges for services that went from 26.892 million to 29.5. And that's an increase of $2.6 million or 10%. And I think a big part of that is coming out of the pandemic and things kind of normalizing, so the activity is beginning to pick back up just generally. Grants and contributions, pretty consistent. Property taxes are up 1.8 million. We go from 27.8 to 29.7. Reflection of properties coming online, increase in asset values, et cetera. Core revenue stream for the city, so again, positive picture. Taxes went 5.5 to 5.7 million. Again, pretty consistent. These other taxes are things like FP&L. Communications. Yeah, communications, the waste, et cetera. So that's what falls in that category. Franchise fees took an increase from 3.8 million to 4.9 million. Increase of 1.1 million, more than 25%. You know, again, very positive outcome. Intergovernmental revenue, pretty consistent from 10 million to 12 million, and other revenue 7.3 to almost 7.7. So overall, you see the increase in revenue going from 98.2 million to over $106 million. 8% increase, $8.5 million. So again, very positive outcome. The next slide does presents a like schedule with the expenditure side. And overall, you know, you can see that last year the expenditures were 89.3 million. This year, 88.9. So you're really consistent in terms of the overall expenditures. And, you know, it's relatively consistent as you go through the departments, general government, public safety, so forth and so on, that's presented there. So again, it's, you know, relatively consistent. There were some reorganizations, but overall, as you can see, you maintained your expenditure compared to last year, even decreased it a bit. Okay, the next slide, just some operating highlights. We talk about the general fund and it having a positive surplus this year, 1.7 million, and that's after the impact of all of this GASB 87 technical stuff. It had a $17.6 million impact on revenue and expenditures, but overall, the net increase was $1.7 million. The general fund balance finished at 10.4 million, positive. So there was earlier discussions about deficits and the like. So now the city's in a very positive posture at $10.4 million. And we can see general revenue, just snippets here, increased 5.4 million, and some of the program revenue increased 3.1 million. As we look over business type activities, again, enterprise funds, water and sewer and those type funds, we can see the revenue change from 34.6 up to 36.9. There was some bit of rate increases that attribute to that $3 million increase. And expenditures last year were 37.2, this year 36.9. So consistently holding the line on costs on the enterprise fund side. Lastly, we give you a slide to show your change in taxable property value. And you can see that trend over the last 5 years. It's going obviously in a positive direction. As we look at 2018, your tax value was around $3 billion, a little more than $3 billion. And as you look at 2022, that's increased to over $4.5 billion. So that's virtually 50% increase. So again, that's all the positive activity and growth that's occurring within the city. I'm going to pause there to see if there are any questions, and next we'll talk and we'll let Miguel, you want to talk about some of those prior year comments?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Brunson. Appreciate it. And I think members of the public would definitely appreciate the presentation and the findings. And I know each of us had an individual briefing with you and your team. along with our finance director with Miguel. Question for you from the dais, but I only have one question because I think I did mention everything in our briefing, and everything looks pretty good. Now it's up to this new administration, Ms. Daniel and Ms. Rush, Ms. Camo, to ensure that we do what we do. In terms of the expense, I know we're going in the right direction, and I know there's a lot of caution because we do not have the previous fund from the Hopper fund that came in from the COVID. In terms of expenses, the expenditure on page 7, it seems, although it's in the right direction, we are less than, a little bit less than the previous year. Any recommendation or suggestions in terms of the expenditure? Madam Manager, you always talk about keeping it low, and Miguel, when we have our conversation, the formula is keeping the expense low, and as we try to increase our revenue. Any suggestion, Mr. Bronson, as the auditor of this?
Well, it's been mentioned earlier, you have your budget workshop tomorrow. So, you will continue to face challenges. Costs are going up for everyone, right? And it's getting more competitive, retaining employees, as well. So, our only recommendation would be to make best efforts to stay the course. As costs increase, it's just challenging environment. It's not unique to the city. It's for everyone in doing so. Because it has the impact of retention of employees. Everyone, because of these cost increases, want to see increases to be able to satisfy them. So that is the work of your team in your budget workshop tomorrow, to try to just stay the course. That's the only recommendation we can share at this stage.
And this is for Miguel. On page 9, and I guess that could be you, the fiscal, for this year, the year that just ended, so it seems like we ended okay, but it's really the expenses and okay, so the bottom number is the expenditure. The expense, okay, no, I had it mixed up. I thought the bottom was the top. We were over 200,000, so it's plus, it's net plus. Never mind, Miguel, thank you.
I
Yes,
just have
go
two
ahead.
questions. On this page, this is from my previous meeting, this is 6, I think it's from the actual AFR, where it says current status year 2022, and it says 64 million for revenues, and then for expenditures, it says 82 million. I just wanted the public to realize that 17 million is from the capital leases, and if we can, if there's any way to notate that, because when you see it, you're gonna see revenues at 64 and expenditures at 82 million, when it's because of Gatsby 87 and now us having to record the leases, correct?
That is correct. And if
Okay.
you look below that, you'll see 17 million of revenue coming in. It's below the line. That,
Okay.
it's the presentation. That's how
Yeah.
we net out. Overall, we still have a positive.
We have a positive, yeah, I just wanted to make that notation so it doesn't appear that we spent 82 million and when we only have 64 million. And I also noticed that our receivable increased from where we're at 15 million now to 19 million. So if we can explain that, I know we're addressing them now. We're now at $19 million for the water and sewer stormwater account receivables.
This is
19.
last year.
Correct.
Well, this current year, it increased by how many million?
It was 18 million last year, and it's 19, just a little over 19 million this year.
Okay. So historically, does it increase like a million or two?
Well, the rate of increase decreased,
Oh,
if that
that's
helps.
true.
So
people are
it's
not-
increased at a slower pace. And that's primarily because we're taking strides to make collections better, right? So the receivable is a function of two things, of the billings, which is affected by the rates, and customer growth as well. So if we have more customers, there's going to be more receivables. And it's also a function of the collections.
No.
So the better we do on collections, that draws back on the amount of receivables
Yeah,
outstanding.
I'm not doing anything.
So we've stepped up the efforts to do collections, especially with the multi-units. We're working with the city attorney and the city manager's office with some different strategies to really put some pressure on those that have not been making good on their payments. The residential customers have been fairly consistent in terms of them making their payments on their bills. We have people who have, of course, hardships and so on, and we work with them to provide assistance where we can. But really, the heavy hitters, we're taking some new strategies to combat
To
that
go after
issue.
the $19 million that's owed.
And Councilwoman, it's not the, well, part of it is the residents, but mainly it's the commercial, it's the buildings. So we need to put it where it is. The residents, they've been trying to do what they do, and that's, we've been putting programs to help them. But the businesses, the building in this city have not done us right. And I think, Mr. Attorney, you gave us a thing to go after them a couple months ago? Yeah,
Yes,
where are
Mayor.
we?
Few meetings ago, you did approve, you gave us the authority to go ahead and file suit against
How
them.
many millions we got coming in so far?
We haven't filed the first suit.
Oh, you see what happened with the people? It's not us. We put it, but they got to do the work. Thank you, Mr. Brunson. We really appreciate it. Any other question, Councilman and Vice Mayor?
Vice Mayor, no, you go first.
So, to whoever is going to answer this question, so Councilwoman Timothy addressed one of the findings, which was the other founding is the capital asset. So can you, through the manager, our director of finance, what are the steps that we're taking to correct that? First of all, could you explain what that finding is, and then tell us what steps we're taking to correct it?
Okay, certainly.
Because based on the report, and we've had this conversation in private, based on the report, this is the third time we're having this. So personally, I would not like to see this report again next fiscal year. So I want to publicly address what are we doing and what will we do, and can we correct this, like I mentioned in private, within the next 12 months or in the next fiscal year, so that this is not a finding again. What can we do? And Madam Manager, after he speaks, if you could help us out with that as well. Thank you.
Okay, so the finding dates back to 2020. Back then, we had some significant adjustments to the land capital asset class, meaning that we compared our books, what we had on the books for our land inventory, and compared it to what was actually out there. And there were some discrepancies, and we had to make adjustments. Now, because it's land, we're dealing with a very valuable asset. The adjustments were significant, meaning that they were material, large numbers. So that's why it became a finding back then. So at that point, we dealt with the land asset class reconciliation, and we moved to the different asset classes to make sure that we had all the asset classes, meaning infrastructure, machinery and equipment, and leases. We wanted to make sure that all the asset classes were properly stated. So in last year, we worked on the leases. As Mr. Brunson mentioned, we had the implementation of GASB 87 for leases. That standard required that we do an inventory of all the leases that the city had and categorize them as capital assets. So by virtue of implementing that standard, we were able to take care of that asset class. We started the machinery.
But that one is new. That's a new law that came in. That's new.
It's new, but by virtue of doing it, we were able to take care of that category of, because that's one of the classes of the capital assets, right? So the other category is machinery and equipment. That's something that we began, and it's something not necessarily that's going to have a material impact in terms of dollar value, but just more an accounting of the inventory of assets. So, for example, we have lots of computer equipment, computers that are fully depreciated that are still on the books, small equipment from the different departments, parks, public works.
We got it.
No,
Go ahead. You need more?
No, I do need more.
Go ahead.
Yep. So a lot of these assets are fully depreciated, and we want to make sure that they're still in the possession of the city, meaning that we still should be carrying them on the books. So working with the different departments, we have capital asset liaisons. We do inventories throughout the year. We have a capital assets junior accountant who works with the different departments to make sure that, I mean, we're on an ongoing basis, there are capital assets as people buy new things and so on and so forth, but we're also doing cleanup of the old records to make sure that everything is properly stated. So, like I said, when we spoke, it's an ongoing process. I think I'm confident that we'll be able to get through that process. We'll have more resources assigned to speeding up that process so that this is not a finding in this
Right.
year's report.
So in our briefing, I think you said that you could agree that we were at 60%, right? So,
With
so we're saying by next year, this will not be a finding.
We don't expect it'll be a finding. We will
Okay.
redouble our efforts to
Do
ensure
we
it
have
won't be a repeat.
policies and procedures in place? Because, so that all of the departments are doing the proper reporting, so that we can, go ahead.
So, Vice Mayor, one of the functions is because we don't have a centralized ER, and that's one of the upgrades that we're doing right now. We don't have a centralized area for all the inventories, for all the department, for all our assets. Upgrading our system from Eden to this Tyler Munis and
We'll address
finance is
that.
the first will help us get to that point. What finance is doing right now is they're cleaning up the past records that they've been having so that when we get into the master storage system, we're going to have it cleaned out, and moving forward, as we acquire more assets, we will have a proper accounting and they can properly depreciate.
Okay.
So with that will come policies and procedures as well that we will be implementing via administrative regulations for the departments to ensure that they follow the process so that finance is not holding the bag next year
Right.
again.
Okay, great. And then the third finding was the general fund balance. Could you explain
Right.
that?
So that one was the one that was categorized as a management letter recommendation. And I actually kind of spoke to it a little earlier. It's just, we don't have a deficit as we did, because the finding itself spoke to the deficit that existed back in 2020. But as a result of what I spoke about earlier with the one-time funds from capital asset sales and from the federal grants, we were able to come out of the deficit really relatively quickly. Because, we had like a 5-year plan to slowly build our way out of it. But as a result of the cash infusions, we were able to kind of supercharge that growth out of the deficit. But by virtue of it being one-time funds, we just have to be cautionary, like I said. And that's what the finding is about, just to be cautious about going forward, because it was one-time funds that was the main driver of that. So in our response, we just acknowledge that we agree with the auditor's recommendation.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for answering my questions.
Oh, okay. Sage, thank you very much for taking the time to present. And I just want you, Miguel, and also the city manager, to travel with me back to page 7. I have a question. First, I would ask you to, on page 7, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, cultural and recreation. How would you define that?
Well, that relates to Parks and Rec and MOCA, because these are the cultural and recreational departments, so to speak. So it's a summarization of the activity related to those departments, the expenditures related to those departments.
Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Any other question, members? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bronson. Thank you so much, Miguel.
I just wanted to just quickly
yes,
say thank you to the finance department for
yes.
their tireless effort
Where's
in trying to
Margaret?
get this done.
Is she here?
She's on vacation,
Oh,
so
and I see Serge is here. Hello, Ms.
Yep.
Parrish, all of the entire finance team. Thank you
yeah,
so
just wanted
very
to thank
much.
my staff. And the supportive manager as well for helping us get this report out, and Mr. Brunson and his team.
And Mr. Brunson, I know this is not your first one, right? Since we've changed it, okay.
No.
And you were on time, so thank you.
Thank you.
We were on time.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. And now, after all these presentations, I don't really know where we are. And, okay, we are, city event, oh, what, are we serious? Savannah, how are you? Real
Good
quick.
evening, sir.
Good
How are
evening,
you?
Good evening.
Okay, I'm going to speed through it.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami neighbors, and guests. My name is Savannah Smith, and I'm presenting the following announcements on behalf of the City of North Miami. Be cool by the pool party. Music, games, fun, and more. Don't forget your swimsuit, towel, and sunscreen. Saturday, July 29, 2023, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Thomas Sasso Pool, 1100 Northwest 125th Street. It is $1 entry. All ages are welcome, and food is available for purchase. The City of North Miami will hold a virtual budget workshop on Wednesday, July 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. Interested members of the public are invited to observe and participate in this workshop via Zoom at www.northmiamifl.gov/budget-workshop. It's time to grab your family and friends and join Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy for some fun in the sun in partnership with the North Miami Parks and Recreation Department. The Pop-Ups at the Park event is fun for the entire family. Join the fun this Friday, July 14, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at North Bayshore Park. School's out for summer, so let's party. Hang out with Councilman Pierre Franz Charles as he hosts a summer jam on Saturday, July 15th, 2023 from 12 to 4 p.m. at Clyde W. Judson Community Center. Get ready to meet some extraordinary creatures up close and personal. Join the North Miami Public Library for a wild animal show on Saturday, July 15th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Stay hurricane ready by attending the North Miami Building Department Flood Information Workshop on Monday, July 18, 2023 from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Scott Galvin Community Center. Learn about flood insurance savings, FEMA updates, and flood mitigation. The North Miami Housing and Social Services Department is holding a mandatory How to Apply workshop on Wednesday, July 19, 2023 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Scott Galvin Community Center. Join MOCA for a special night of vibrant music, dance, and community on MOCA Plaza on Friday, July 21st, 7 to 9 p.m. for a performance by Capítulos de Niña 2.0, a unique bilingual reggaeton soap opera performance celebrating Liz'n Bao new installation El Mundo es Mágico on MOCA Plaza. Join Interim Chief Angel Rivera and your friends from the North Miami Police Department for a fun morning of fishing and engagement on Saturday, July 22nd, 2023, from 8 to 11 a.m. at the North Bayshore William Lehman Park. Prepare to be amazed at the North Miami Public Library's enchanting event, The Magic Show. Join us on Saturday, July 29, 2023 at 2 p.m. for an afternoon filled with wonder and awe. In addition, all winners of the 2023 Summer Reading Challenge will be announced. Although school is out, preparing our children for the new school year is very important. The City of North Miami is collecting new school supplies to ensure they have the proper tools to succeed. The city will collect donations until August 7, 2023 at 2 locations, the North Miami Public Library and the North Miami Police Department. Save the date. The City of North Miami Back to School Block Party is on Monday, August 14th, 2023 at Cagney Park from 4 to 6 p.m. To stay up to date with NOMI news and events, log on to North Miami's website at www.northmiamifl.gov. Click on Connect with NOMI on the homepage to sign up for the city's newsletters. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at North Miami FL and on Twitter at NOMI News. This concludes the city announcements. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Smith. Madam Vice Mayor, you had a comment?
Thank you. That was a great report. But we missed the images because so that the residents are able to see what you talk about. So, but thank you. That was a really excellent report. But we'd like to bring back the images, please.
Thank you so very much. Consent agenda. Is that where we are? I'm looking at the CRA.
Are we going to skip
The
hurricane
Oh,
preparedness?
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. I'm sorry.
There are no updates for the hurricane agenda.
Okay, any appointments, Madam Clerk? None?
No, not on this agenda.
Thank you. And go ahead, consent agenda.
Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through H constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through H be adopted.
Thank you, and I move, I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Desilme to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in
Actually,
favor?
Board Member Timothy.
Then you might, yeah.
Thank you.
On that note.
What?
It was
No, no, go
seconded by
ahead, go
Board
ahead.
Member Timothy.
Okay, so I can't hear when.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my mic was off.
Thanks. I have a motion made by Mayor Desilme to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Did you want to vote?
Thank you. Councilman Galvin was not here on that vote, Madam.
Move to adjourn.
We almost said that.
For the
I didn't
consented
say-
agenda.
Gotcha.
No,
I vote yes on the consent.
The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. Tab I.
Tab I, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders to Cone Inc. as the sole source provider of elevator door lock monitoring equipment in accordance with Section 7-143 of the City Code of Ordinances at a cost not to exceed $58,740, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab I.
Thank you so much, Mr. Estrada. Hold on a second. Thank you. Public hearing is now open on tab I. Is India? Tab I. Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Clerk. Is Ms. Carter here with you? I would like to meet Ms. Corinne Carter. She's not with, okay. Okay,
Chief, is
thank
Ms.
you.
Carter here?
Is she?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just wanted to meet her. I thought that was her in the back. Thank you. Tab J.
Tab J, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute Amendment Number 2 to the Professional Services Agreement between the City of North Miami and WTP America LLC, doing business as WT Partnership for P3 Technical Advisory and Transaction Management Services for the Downtown Revitalization Project, in substantially the attached form, to provide for a 1-year extension to the term of the agreement and to include additional services in an amount not exceeding $71,000, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab J.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open on tab J. Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab J. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tab K.
Tab K, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders to Compan Inc. in an aggregate amount not to exceed $200,000 for the purchase and installation of playground equipment for the North Miami Library Tot Lot, utilizing the cooperative purchasing provision pursuant to Section 7-169 of the City Code, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab K.
Thank you. And now tab K is open for public hearing. See, non-public hearing is closed. I do have a question on the item, on this particular item. Is this part of the grant where the CRA is putting some of the money towards this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how much are they putting in? This is only our portion.
Yes, through the manager, Mr. Mayor, the funding breakdown is the CRA is providing $100,000. And the remainder will be split among city impact fees, general fund, and also there is some HUD funding, CDBG funding included in there. And it can be found, the breakdown actually is included part of the report
Yes.
on your second page. But
I know, but I don't know if the public has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on that, based on the numbers. So we have 200,000 in here, and when we add
So it's 300?
everything together,
But it's not to exceed.
said from the CRA, impact fee, HUD, all together.
You're approving the tot lot playground, but the rest of the work is gonna be done by city staff.
So our portion is how much? The city
So what will
portion?
be,
The total for the project, as Alberto just said it,
It's
is,
200.
is 200,000.
No, but this is 175.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. Are we doing all of it, or is the CRA?
The
doing
CR is
half of
contributing
it?
100,000 towards the project.
Okay. Towards this 200,000? Is this the
It
total?
could be considered that way, yes.
Okay, that's, that, I didn't know if the project is 300,000, this is our portion, so the total of the project is 200.
The total of the project is over 200, it's 275,000.
yeah,
How much
exactly.
is it?
Oh, then.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to figure
275,000.
out.
The tot lot purchase playground is $200,000, and that's what's in front of you for approval. The rest of the work that's outlined there, 75,000, is gonna be done by city staff. The rest of the work.
What kind of playground are we buying for $200,000?
I'm not of that age to tell you, sir.
Yeah, please, enlighten me. I just want to know.
The picture's in the report.
No, because when we can't, when I have issues, can't pay a resident water bill for 1,000, I see 200 for, please, is there any picture of what they are?
Well, there's actually a rendering included as part of the council report.
If we could have those on the,
I think the
screen.
director had a report.
yeah.
Are you doing the report or no?
Hold on.
Um,
No, there's a real,
as the mayor was saying, I have a resident, she's been fighting a 1,000 utility bill, and we need to look at the numbers and see what we can do and how we can,
So just
put
to,
it together with that.
unfortunately, some of the funding, as you can tell, like the impact fees are limited to
Community
parks and
improvement.
library
We know.
expansions. So we were very creative in how we funded this.
how much
And
is
of
coming
course-
from general fund?
Is 150,000?
Well, it's
No,
combined.
none is coming
HUD
from.
Oh, no,
CDBG
oh,
is
perfect.
25,000, and the impact fee.
I second that
Okay.
that motion for whatever that we do. I was just asking,
Yeah, no.
I'm not against the playground, it is a lot. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know, Mr. Estrada, I think this question is for you. Mainly, have we done our due diligence in terms of looking around at the different prices? Because I remember, and council member, I had this incident happen in District 4 when we were doing the
Cloud Pepper Park, I
Yeah,
remember.
exactly. So just make sure it's the right thing with Christine
Correct.
and
We even
whatever.
saw that.
If I
That
may,
to me, let me see, that's 200,000?
with the
Don't show
grass.
that, yeah, don't show that to the paper, okay. never
So
mind.
because this area is near a high school and a middle school,
From what I
recommendation.
see, that's $50,000 worth, but
Concrete went up 800%. That's why your driver approaches are this was sweaty now. But I would like to be a co-sponsor on this item, especially since it's tab K for Cassandra. But this is a project that we've been working on for over a year to bring so much improvement to the area. I don't know if Christine has images of the current condition of what it was and what it's going to transform into. We're gonna have some library benches and so forth, but bringing some much needed improvement to District 2 because the nearby park is actually in Biscayne Park. We don't have that many playgrounds in the district, so this was a project that we identified and were able to find the funding. Oh, if you-
no, I think we're talking about the price of what I just saw. That's $200,000 for real?
Good evening, council, mayor and council. Sorry, Christine Carney, interim Parks and Recreation Director. It doesn't only include the actual equipment, it also includes the installation of the equipment. There is more, it is going to be a bigger footprint than what is existing there now. So it is 200,000. And unfortunately, inflation, things have changed a little bit with cost, not just in the equipment, but cost in labor.
Mr. Mayor, question. Are you removing any of the mature trees
No,
that are there? Okay.
not at all. Just on that is what currently exists, and those mature trees will stay. It'll actually be expanded, it'll be expanded bigger than what it is now.
Cool.
And
Sorry?
Oh, no, for Alberto. A question for you. Is this a piggyback?
We're actually procuring this through a cooperative, a national cooperative by the name of Omnia Partners. And I also would like to add that actually with the collaboration of Ms. Carney and also Mr. Jeff Geimer, we actually, for the last couple of months, I think, have been in negotiations, if you will, not only with this vendor, but another vendor, only obviously to make sure that we always get, you know, the best price for the city. So it wasn't like we just were dealing with them only. And just to add, and it's included in the report, that through this cooperative, we actually have a 15% discount that's provided as part of the price. So we did our due diligence, and this is our recommendation.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, you can add me also as a co-sponsor. Love it.
Move to approve?
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the item at tab K. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Tab L.
Thank you.
Tab L, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to execute an amendment to the asphalt pavement replacement agreements with Metro Express, Inc. and H&R Paving, Inc. to extend the term of the agreements and include additional services for the city's driveway approach program at a cost not to exceed $225,000, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab L.
Thank you. Open to the public. None. Tab. Public hearing is closed.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Charles to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Tab M, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue a change order to Bazil USA LLC in the amount of $227,031 to provide additional services for the water main improvement project located along Northeast 118th Street from Biscayne Canal Road to West Dixie Highway, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab M.
Thank you. Tab M is open to the public. Tab M as in Mary. It's open to the public. Okay, Cassandra and Mary. Close.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So it's a change order.
Yes,
What
it
was
is.
the order previously?
Well, this is a requested change order through the manager, excuse me, for additional, it is intended to cover additional milling of the existing pavement and concrete overlay along the impacted areas of the project. I just want to add, and it's included there in the report, that this requested change order was reviewed by both staff and also the engineer, consulting engineer that was retained by the city for this project. The name of the engineering firm is Kimley Horn, and Mr. Gary Rattay from Kimley Horn is present here in the event that you have any questions, but it was reviewed and analyzed by them and recommended for approval.
So the entire project is going to cost us $776,000, is that my understanding?
The change order would be an additional $227,031, and that would be in addition to the initial cost of the project, which was $766,503.
So the initial cost was that, and there's an additional $201,000.
That's correct.
And where is that coming from? Madam Manager? Madam Manager, where's that coming from, the additional?
It's from the water sewer fund.
Okay, thank you. You done, Madam
Yeah,
Vice Mayor?
yeah, I'm fine.
Move for approval?
Second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Desilme to approve the item at tab M. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you, Madam
Tab
Clerk.
N,
Thank you.
Yes.
a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of MAGG OLC Inc. as the lowest responsible contractor to furnish materials, equipment, tools, machinery, supervision, expertise, and services required for the installation of a traffic circle at Northwest 16th Avenue and Northwest 120th Street. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for the installation of a traffic circle at the selected location in the amount not to exceed $368,999. In accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 14-22-23, providing for an effective date and all other purposes, tab N.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk, but I do have a story here, because I do see the crew. I see Miss Virginia Gilmore is here, Miss Lynch, Sylvia is here on 16th Avenue. This, Miss Gilmore, she's coming up to speak. I know they're here to speak. This particular project, and ladies, we have a mic right here. This started 14 years ago, before I got on the council. So my first job, when I first got on here, and I'm saying this story because I want the public to understand, part of our policymakers, when it works right, it does, but you have to be a partner with us. And these women, ever since for 9 years, they have reminded me. Now, I had nothing to do with the request. The request was made from the previous council member that was here. For whatever reason, it did not happen. So my first goal, when I first introduced to Ms. Gilmore 9 years ago, and these lovely ladies, was about this traffic circle. And every single manager since then, so I do want to say thank you to Teresa Terrellis that started this with Anisha, to ensure that, I think you started with the county and this and that, because every year we were like, this was already in the budget, it was funded, and Ms. Gilmore has emails like, Scott, we know. She hold on to these emails like there's no tomorrow. I said, Virginia, I never lied to you. We're gonna get it done. It's not me, it's a process. So I do wanna thank Anisha again and Ms. Kamu when she first came. That was one of the things that I told her, and it's finally here, Virginia. And I do know you wanna say a few words, so Virginia, come on up with Ms. Lynch and Sylvia, all of y'all. Thank you so much. And this is public hearing on this item.
Well, this is Virginia, 1635 Northwest 120th Street. I lived down that street 40 years. Cars go down that street 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, they don't stop. They run into the house, they run into the street. This has been going on, the county has approved this, and with the corruption in the city, I hate to say this, but with the corruption in the city, it taking us $389,000 when it could have been done for $100,000 or $150,000. So I'm asking for this circle. All the neighbors on the corner, they are fed up. So I'm asking for this circle, that we can have this circle and have a peace of mind.
You have the circle, Virginia. This is the thank you part.
Thank you.
Love you, Sylvia.
No, I believe in you.
I know, Miss Lynch, you want to say anything, Sylvia? How you doing?
Yes. Thank you.
Sylvia, Miss Sylvia, you good?
Yes,
Amen.
we're good.
Okay.
We just want our circle.
It's gonna be done, trust
Yes.
me, and we'll have
and
a
I
big.
I will take care of that circle.
All right, man. There
I'll
we go.
make sure to take care of that circle.
Thank you.
Okay,
Public
so
hearing is closed on that.
Hey, before we vote, can I just add something there? Mrs. Gilmore has been active so
Yes.
long in her neighborhood. How long, you might ask? I was president of the West Side Property Owners Association. If a lot of people don't know that, in 1989.
Before I was born.
She was already a member and active then. So congratulations.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Just to add to the long story, I got appointed on Tuesday, and Wednesday morning, I got a call from Mr. Dean, Greg Dean. He lives just right across Judson.
Yeah, that's Vivian.
And he said that I need to meet with you. And I said, okay. Then he told me Wednesday is not good because I got to work. Thursday is not going to be good. Friday, can you make it at 12? I said, okay. And then that was my lunchtime at Miami Central Senior High. So I have to skip lunch and go over. Mr. Dean took me on a tour, just go around and show me exactly what is happening. Sure enough, while we were on 16 and somebody just sped up, he said,
God.
this is a testimony of exactly what I'm talking about. Then I called Anisha, our assistant city manager, and then at that time she was in charge, and asked some questions. Then I called Whistler. Whistler, where are you? That was my first conversation with Whistler. And Whistler said everything has been approved, and then we're just waiting for the county. When I gave Mr. Dean that story, and I regret the fact that he's not here tonight, and he said, man, this is the same story I've been hearing for over 15 years. I said, oh my God. I pray that everything is good and we get it done. And I think tonight, we just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been involved. Thank you to you, because this is well overdue. And just to add to that, Whistler, as part of our conversation, can this traffic circle be kind of the same as the one we have on Northeast 14th Ave and 131st Street? Because the one that we have in ND4, I don't like the shape. I don't like the way the trees and everything, because this is a good one that we have in the city. I think we can, if we can mimic that.
Which one?
The one, it is on 131st Street and Northeast 14th Avenue. Yep, just right there. 14.
There is one there.
14. It's very nice, nicely done. Yeah.
Why is it very nice? Wait a minute.
Very
now.
nice. It's like different from the ones we have. It's like
it's probably the keep up of the maintenance.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
not the maintenance. Okay.
The shape and everything. 14th.
Yeah.
14th. Northeast 14th.
That's what. Yeah.
Northeast 14th Avenue. And yeah. And I talked to
by
Whistler.
Iconic, like by where Iconic.
131st, like what you.
Oh, by Iconic. Okay.
It's a very nice. It's a very nice traffic circle that we have in the city.
Well, we want the best.
It's very nice.
With 300 and
That'll
something
be the next
thousand.
week's call when the plan's
Exactly.
done.
I just have. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
Max.
Whistler, is that? Would that be possible?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council, through the manager. Yes, it's possible to change the design. I've spoken
What
to.
did that come with? We had a design.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you put it out.
Oh, you did put it out. Okay, that's the. I've seen the design. I'm pretty sure I have or I haven't.
Is it in the report?
It was in the bid package. That's
No,
the,
no,
what
in the bid package, but
In
it's
the
not
bid-
here.
Okay, so it's gonna look nice. Okay, thank you. And Ms.
Wait,
Gilmore.
no,
Did we vote yet?
So wait, we didn't vote yet, but there's a change there. If the design were to be changed, how long will it take to change the design?
I have to defer to the consulting engineer, but I spoke to him before, and he said it's not a major change
Okay.
to make those changes. So I expect that to be something that would be done pretty quickly.
Within
Okay,
budget
can
or-
Mr. Engineer, could you put that on the record when you say pretty
Yes.
quickly? What does that mean?
Yes, Emile Amide with Embro. The design is very similar to the one that you had sent us, except with the shrubs that are different. So we're gonna address that in the landscaping part. But everything else
Yeah.
is the same, the circle, you know. Mind you that we have a driveway on the south side, on the south west side, that the difference is there. We have to give access to these to the owner to back out. So that's why it's not gonna ever be the same. But the circle itself, it's the same. The shrubs that we picked and is different. But we did,
and the plants?
due diligence and stuff like that. Yes.
And the plants?
And the plants.
Yeah. 'Cause,
So the shrubs is what we're gonna go back and look and see which shrubs that was used on 14, right? to be the same. But we did coordinate what at that time what kind of shrubs they wanted. That's about it.
Thank you. So Whistler, I have a question. Once this is passed tonight, when when will it be installed?
Roughly the average time from the time that it's approved tonight it's probably going to take about a month or so for the contract to be executed, because they have to provide things like their
We like that.
insurance has to be reviewed. We have to get, so we'll probably issue an NTP in a month or so is my estimate, and then the contract will be ready to go.
Can I ask a question? Can
no,
we-
it's good, but wait, how you got it?
I have a question on the circle. Can we have more pavers and less plant? Because some of the circles in the city are not maintaining those circles.
They sure not, but they will
Some
be.
of them, they're not. So if we could have more pavers and a smaller area of plants.
Yeah, yes, and I believe that's the difference with for the one on 14th Avenue. So it's the same number of pavers. It's just the landscaping that was proposed that was different, but we'll make those modifications.
Okay, thank you.
So again, just to be clear, so within 60 days, it sounds to me that, so once the contract is done in the NTP, right, in 30 days, how long does it take for the construction work?
We have to discuss that with the contractor. I don't know their scheduling. They have to procure materials. I don't know how long it would take for all of that to take place, but I can get back to you with a firm date.
What is typically when the roundabout is built, how long does it take to be built?
It varies, and per this contract, how many days did we give them?
We gave them 90 days from the notice to proceed. Yeah, we gave them 90 days. Well, our schedule, but that's our estimate. So it has to be confirmed with the contractor. This is what we estimated.
Question, have you guys done circles in the city?
In the city of
In the past? In North Miami?
In North Miami, no, but in the city of Miami, we've done 14.
Okay, but this will be your first in North Miami.
Yeah, but we've done work in the city.
Okay. And typically with these contracts, to purchasing through the manager, do they stay within budget? Do they tend to go over? I know we sometimes budget something, but then, numbers may change.
Well, through the manager, usually these contracts stay on track, they stay on budget. But what I'm hearing some minor design changes. So just keep in mind, those design changes, obviously, the engineer, Mr. Amity, will work with the contractor, because now if you're changing a little bit of the scope, I mean, it's minor.
Okay.
We should be able to come up with whatever those changes are, figure that out, and then move forward from there.
No problem. No, I'm just asking because I know the last item, Councilman was making sure that we had funding for, residents in their utility bill. We just want to make sure that we're going to stay within budget for this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I can add something as well. The contractor has actually completed 2 circles in the city of North Miami before, Northeast 127th and 4th Avenue, and the one on, I do not see the location for this one, but I know they've done 2 before, and they performed pretty well. And this proposal actually includes a contingency, $33,000 contingency.
Mr. Pierre Lewis, real quick, any other questions?
No, that's it for me.
I have one last question. The 2 pictures that, Madam Manager, you sent me, one, obviously, the first one and the second one. I'm hoping we're talking about the first one. Similar to the first one, right? Oh, okay, this is closer. So when we talk about shrubs, because I hear you mention that a couple times, we have them on 7th Avenue, which is a project Ms. Daniel and I worked on, and I'm not really too pleased with that project. How can we have like grass? Why you can have like grass with nice, I think what does these things is the lighting and the type of, different flowers and different things that you will have, that would make it look nice. I went to, Palm Beach. They have these circles, and what really stood out when you drive by them are the lighting at night, and then the various beautiful different Florida not native, but at least they look nice. Is there something that we could, because looking at this is just, it's plain. There's nothing add to it. There's no,
Can we let staff deal with that?
Yeah, but that's what you come back with, Councilman Galvin.
I
when you
hear
get with
you.
This
I'm just
one, I know. But
it
staff,
probably
please,
requires lighting and stuff
Lighting
like that. That's
and-
probably
and-
not budgeted.
very, very, you know.
But y'all, yeah, but in honesty, before we drive up the price on this and then
Yeah.
set back the installation, you know, let's just approve it so Ms.
Yeah,
Gilmore
but
can
all-
get
all
the
of-
circle.
Just to
and-
add that all of them come with lighting. All the circles. They have lighting in, yeah, we have lighting in all of them.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Do they,
Oh.
Mister? Do they?
Move for approval.
Second.
Do they?
Most, this is proposed with lighting.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a motion made by Councilman Charles to approve the item at tab N. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
And Ms. Gilmore, we will name this after you, ma'am, in your honor. Amen. Tab O.
Tab O, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and the city attorney to negotiate and execute an interlocal agreement between the city of North Miami and Miami-Dade County to provide funding from the Miami-Dade Rescue Plan Fund in the amount of $200,000 to be used towards the expansion of the North Miami Alyssa Mackley Lucian Swim Program. Further authorizing the city manager to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the interlocal agreement, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab O.
Thank you so much. Tab O is open to, I'm sorry, Tab O is open to the public. Seeing none, it's closed.
Move for approval?
Second.
Just before that, I have a
Sure.
question.
Go ahead, sir.
From a resident. Into that swimming program, question was that, do we provide service to special needs children?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Christine Carney, Interim Parks and Recreation Director. We do not turn anyone away. We do not have any staff that are specialized for all needs, but it depends. We will always give an opportunity, and it depends on the level of the need. And if we can, we will accommodate. If we can't, we give them the opportunity to, help find other places. But we do not have a therapeutic specific division.
Okay. Just a follow-up questions. I've been getting complaints from residents, some of them are very vocal, about the pool that is not ADA compliant. Can you just...
So we have a lift that does work to help assist. It's a chair. It's a mechanical chair that helps get somebody into the water. But when you say ADA compliant, the lift is feasible for that, but it's not like a zero depth entry. A lot of times what people say it looks like a beach entry, it's not that. We don't have that.
Okay.
And it's...
Yeah, this is one of the complaints that I have about the pool, so it's something that we probably look into it. I'm not saying today or tomorrow, but something that we need to start working and put a plan in place.
Yeah, and the pool eventually, and I don't want to speak too much on this, but the pool that will be at Cagney North will be ADA compliant. The pool at the pool at Thomas Sasso Pool is old. It's, years and years.
I learned to swim at that pool. I'm telling you, it's a true story.
So just to get it is ADA compliant, but not as accessible as the newer pools that are being built.
My point is that is it something that we can start looking at it and see how we can move, maybe if it's not this year, next year, because let's say I have someone on a wheelchair would like to get into the pool and everything from Northwest 16th Avenue, and I cannot tell that person to wait until we have
getting into
Cagney.
the pool. I'm sorry. I apologize. I get what you're saying too now. Just to get into the pool deck.
Exactly,
I apologize.
Exactly.
There is a ramp, and a lot of people don't know that the ramp is there. We do have some issues that we are actually dealing with when the threshold's going through the door. And we are addressing all the doors in Thomas Sasso Pool. The installation will take place after summer camp is over. So
Okay.
once school starts in this, because then we would have to close down, because there's about 7 to 9 doors that are being redone. So the whole frame, along with the threshold for a chair to get over. So I apologize for answering.
And last question for the record. So when is that Sasopol will be fully operating?
But, say that again?
When we going to start, we open like full schedule? Because
Yes.
those are some questions that I'm getting every time I meet with some of my
So
some
this
of
grant
my
in
residents.
particular that is mentioned in this discussion is not just for swim lessons.
Mhm.
A good portion of it is going to go for scholarships, but then
Yes.
other portions of it is going to go towards staffing for water safety instructors and lifeguards, which will help. As you know, that's a national issue. It's not just here in North Miami. Finding lifeguards and retaining them it's been an ongoing problem since the pandemic. So this money will help with that as well. Not just increase pay for salaries, but increase, help entice people to come and stay here in North Miami and work for us as opposed to going to other cities that are paying more.
Thank you. And my last question go to Madam Manager. I've been told that as it refers to lifeguard, it's not that we cannot find them. It's like we're not being competitive compared to what other places are paying. So can you please?
It is true, it's a fact, but unfortunately for a function of budget, this is what we have. Salaries for all positions and do a comparison with other municipalities so we can see what the gap is. But right now, thanks to this grant, we're able to now be competitive and be able to recruit and retain for now.
Thank you very much.
And this grant came from the county, correct?
Yes.
From Commissioner Monestein? Okay.
Question, just one question. Will this include water safety or in our swimming lessons
Yes.
in our parks?
Yes. So
From the age of like, for babies or infants?
not infants. We don't have that. That is a different certification for that. We can work on that and see if that's something that's feasible for us.
I
but
would,
yes.
I would really encourage that. I know a couple of years ago in my district, and I was not elected at the time, and it made the local news. There's a parent that had like, I think a 2-year-old or whatever that fell in the pool. And 20 years ago, I remember a statistic about 1 out of 3 children, drown. So, and with that, I remember when I was looking for water safety class, I had to it was either Kendall or Coral Spring.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a real advantage on a lot of points for us to make sure that we have a water safety class that captured the ages. I think is 3 months. I think
Yeah,
I did
actually-
my son at 6 months.
Yeah, I think it is 3 months. It's
really,
the newborn where
right.
it's really just they can roll over, they can learn how to float back on their back, and that's no problem. We can
That's so
definitely look
crucial.
into that and see what that certification is. It is a little bit more insurance policies as well. So, but we'll take care of that.
Yeah, but it saves lives, and it could save one of our kids' lives here. And we have a lot of canals and waterways here. So, okay, thank you.
One last question. With the schedule, as you know now, it is like almost 100 degrees every day.
Yeah.
So what is the schedule of the pool?
So-
Open to our residents.
It's open Saturdays and Sundays, 12 to 5. Swim lessons are on Saturdays and Sundays in the morning, 10 to 12. We are open some days during the week. However, we do have a lot of camps that come in during the week for their field trips. Not just our camps internally, but we have outside camps that pay to come in and use the pool Monday through Friday from 10 to 1. And then we are open some of those days. I don't want to say all of them. Weather permitting, we've had a lot of rain after 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we also have struggled with lifeguards.
Okay.
So we definitely have them on the weekends. So our weekdays are a little bit thinner.
quickly, as a resident, I just want to go to the pool just to see if I can help myself out with the heat. And so which day I can go there, and how much is it? Do I have a fee that I have to pay to get into the pool?
Yep, Saturdays and Sundays, 12 to 5, guaranteed, always open.
And how much is it?
It's weather. Unless
Is it free of charge?
No, it is $3.
All right, thank you very much.
$1.50 for senior citizens, 55 and over.
Okay.
And our pool party is Saturday on the 29th, and it's only $1 to get in.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
I have a motion made by
Yes,
Councilman.
add me as a sponsor.
No,
to
I
that
thought you were
item.
going to be sponsoring the pool entry fee for everyone.
No. As a sponsor to that item, we all. Don't wanna get me in trouble in here. Well, I thought you were cool.
Not all the time.
So we're calling question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought we moved to approve.
We got.
Did we
I think
vote?
we have and a second.
Okay.
No. Oh, second.
There was a second. I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab O. The motion was seconded by Mayor Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The item passes with a 4-0 vote.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Please be advised that the following item on the agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to speak in favor of, object to, or comment on an item, on the item, please complete a public speaker's card indicating the agenda item number on which you would like to comment. You must be sworn in before addressing the City Council, and you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse to submit to cross-examination, the City Council will not consider your comments in its final deliberation. Please also disclose any ex parte communications you may have had with any member of the City Council. City Council members do the same. If you plan to speak on the at tab P, there are public speaker cards in the back / the entrance of the chambers. Tab P, a proposed quasi-judicial resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving an application for a conditional use permit in substantially the attached form for a proposed mixed-use development consisting of a 12-unit, 4-story apartment building with 434 square feet of retail space on real property located at 12315 Northeast 4th Avenue, identified with Miami-Dade County folio number 06-2230-036-0100 and totaling approximately 0.20 acres in accordance with Article through 3-407, Article 4, Division 2, Section 4-202, Section 4-203, parentheses, capital B, Section 4-205, Section 305, and Section 4-306 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. If you plan to speak on the item at tab P, please, and you have not yet filled out a public speaker's card and submitted it to me, please stand and raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Okay, so the only person that I have is Federico Zapata, who has already been sworn in because they filled out a public speaker's card.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good evening. The Community Planning and Development Department through the City Manager. As stated by the City Clerk, the item before you is a conditional use permit for the property approximately located at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1 East 4th Avenue. The parcel is approximately 0.2 acres in size, which is approximately 8,100 square feet. The applicant is seeking a conditional use permit to a lot. The property is zoned C3, Business Central, with a future land use map designation of commercial. Currently on the site is a 5-unit development. The C3 has a maximum height of 35 feet. The commercial overlay has a maximum height of 150 feet. It also is located within the Arts Overlay District that uses support art, culture, design, art education, live work as part of the uses within it. It's also located within the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay, which is a transitional standard with a maximum of 90 units per acre and a maximum height of 90 feet. Additionally, it's also located within the Planned Corridor Development Overlay, which has a maximum height at this area of 110 feet with 100 units per acre through the conditional use permit process. This item also went before the Board of Adjustment to get an adjustment in the setback from the rear southeast corner from the standard 25 feet setback to 10 feet setback. This was executed at the May 17th meeting of this year. The Planning Commission looked at this item on June the 6th of this year and recommended approval. As stated, the proposal is a 4-story, 12-unit apartment with 1 live-work unit, 434 square feet of commercial area, and it also will provide 16 parking spaces covered. It would have a permeable parking pavers. It would have enhanced stormwater requirements and 100% of Florida natives per the county and city code. And it will provide public art. The economic impact is estimated to have 28 short-term direct and indirect jobs during the construction period, which is estimated to be approximately 2 years. It will generate $3 million in wages estimated. After the construction period, it is anticipated to have 4 full-time estimated positions with an estimated salary of $300,000. The ad valorem taxes for the property is approximately $31,000, of which 95% will be devoted towards the CRA. Impact and development fees is estimated at approximately $157,832. As part of our review, we had several conditions associated with this conditional use request. It requires Development Review Committee review. The structure would need to maintain a minimum of 6 feet wide sidewalks along Northeast 4th Avenue. And it would need to get a certificate of use, and it would also need to get a business tax receipt upon completion. It also need to meet LEED certification or equivalent certification prior to a certificate of occupancy being received. Also needs to provide sustainability comments, low impact development activities as related to the Sustainability Administrator's review. These items will be addressed during the DRC process to ensure that they are executed. Next steps, we have the Development Review Committee that they would need to go to. And depending on the size of the lot, if it's 20,000 square feet or more, it will need to have site plan approval through City Council. At this stage, I do not believe they meet that threshold. That is my presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Cook. Mr. Zapata, are you ready for this mic is available? So, okay, this is. He has a presentation too. That is the presentation.
Good evening, Federico Zapata, 156 Northwest 89th Street, El Portal, Florida 33150. Dear members of the Commission and Board, 123 NOMI is a transformative mixed-use development project, and here are the key features and benefits of our project. 12 residential units with a live workspace. This design fosters an engaging, dynamic community and enhances neighborhood culture. The unit's floor plans have been designed around the shifting dynamics of modern life. Within a half-mile radius, our building is served by 21 bus stops, and the Nomi Express and 5 of the Nomi Express service routes, connecting residents with the city and beyond. We have designed
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Just, can you go back just for 1 second? And to that, can you please add a freebie?
Oh, yes, and the freebie.
22.
Yeah, 'cause that's
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure, no problem.
Appreciate it.
It's a joke.
We have designed a visually striking building that also contributes to environmental sustainability. Our eco-friendly driveway and parking grid pavers coupled with permeable landscaping treatments provide an aesthetic appeal while managing a stormwater runoff efficiently. In line with the City of North Miami's consolidated plan, our development introduces energy-efficient, storm-hardened residential units into the aging housing stock. Designed to meet modern life living standards, these new homes will also accommodate persons with disability. Furthermore, we are committed to achieving the green certification, implementing sustainable green building design principles. We have ensured adherence to the zoning regulations under the C3 Commercial District and the Overlay Designation Plan Corridor Development, PCD. 123 Nomi project promises to breathe a new life into North Miami, realizing the city's vision for a vibrant, high-density neighborhood. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so
and
much,
I look
sir.
forward to your approval.
Appreciate it. Mr. Attorney, how do we proceed? He was the only one. Do we just discuss it among ourselves?
Yes,
and-
sir, it goes to you. Just disclose any
Awesome.
any discussions.
That's what I want to ask. Mr. Zapata, did we speak a while back?
Well, a while back.
I wouldn't remember that, but I do remember that. In fact, I remember the conversation. I was in Denver, but yes, thank you. I had a conversation with him a couple months ago.
Right. So
Thank you.
I'd like to also disclose ex parte communication, I think about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
As well.
Same time.
I don't think I met with you all. Did
I
I?
tried to
I-
set up meetings individually to present the project ahead of the meeting,
Okay.
so that way we could answer any questions and also get any feedback possible while we were on the design and pre-approval processes.
I just have 2 questions. One, are you intending on getting CRA funding?
I am not.
2, are you willing, or is there any work for affordable housing units that you can set aside?
Out of the 12 apartments, there is one that comply with the workforce housing requirements and the threshold for the workforce housing requirements, but it's 1 out of the 12.
So there is one.
The other 11 units will be market rate apartments.
And there's no the other one would be market rates. Is there any consideration at all to have more than one?
I tried to get a meeting with the CRA director. I couldn't get a meeting, so to discuss any potential partnership and get some CRA benefits and also provide some apartments for workforce housing.
So so that's the only thing stopping you from providing that?
Just to have the conversation.
Just to
and
have
see
a
how it-
conversation?
yes,
So
yes.
you're open to having the conversation?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And I think what is the retail that you plan to have?
It's a yoga, it could be a yoga studio. It's very small given the size of the building, and it's kind of private, public, either by invitation only. So it could be a flexible space, so an open space that can host between 5 to 6 people, have a yoga class or meditation class.
Okay. That's all of my questions. Any other question? Anyone?
I don't have any
question for-
questions. And I
So
don't
move.
believe we had any conversations
Yeah,
previously,
sorry,
did we?
We had a meeting, we didn't have a meeting, but we stumbled upon on an event, and I did mention the project, but,
Okay, then you didn't have the meeting. He
So
didn't-
this
he
is
didn't
close
mention
it.
Just making sure.
Okay, move for approval.
I'm sorry, I just
Second.
have one more
Go ahead.
question. Are you guys, you're using the NRO overlay to build this?
correct.
Correct, because I know the NRO is going to be removed.
No, it's
So-
not the NRO, we're
It-
using the PCD.
Oh, you're in the PCD, okay.
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
I think I did, but
Oh,
go ahead.
okay.
No, no, Vice Mayor,
I was trying to move it.
yeah, no, we done. We ready to go.
So we have a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor SMA Irving. Is it Mayor
Councilman
Desmond?
Galvin?
Okay, Councilman Galvin, seconded. This is a roll call vote. Councilwoman Timothy,
Yes?
Councilman Galvin.
Yes?
Councilman Charles,
Yes.
Mayor Desilme,
Yes.
and Vice Mayor SMA Irving.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Mr. Zapata, thank you, Stephanie. This looks very, very nice. Hopefully, I have one question for you. Is there any intent to sell the property to anybody?
No,
It's a serious. I
So
know-
far, or out of the 3 developments I have done in the city, I have
Yeah.
built and
Thank you.
kept the buildings.
Ah, nice,
So-
thank you. That's the.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Sign me up for the yoga. Finally, we are here. This is real quick. Madam Deputy Clerk, go ahead.
A discussion and approval of a proposed millage rate and date for first budget hearing on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, and second budget hearing on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Request petitions and communications. Item 11.
Okay, thank you, and this does not need any discussion, it's just among us. Do we need to vote on this, Jeff, or this is just for public purposes? Yes,
Mayor,
ma'am?
through the manager, this is also to set the tentative millage rate for 7.4?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Just
So
wanted to make
do we
sure.
need to vote on it, or we okay?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't believe there's a vote tonight, but there is a change that the manager wanted to. Oh, she got it.
You
Okay.
got it? What's the change?
Originally, it said Wednesday for the budget meeting, but it's Tuesday. So it
Tuesday.
was a
Which one is
typo.
Tuesday?
They're both Tuesday.
Oh, they both? The
Tuesday,
5th are
but Stephanie read
Tuesday.
it correctly on the record.
Okay, well, I'm glad we said publicly, because I would have thought
Miss Katia.
Tuesday, okay,
And it is
awesome.
on the calendar that is attached. It's all Tuesday, however.
And for clarification, you said millage rate 7.4.
Yes, sir, that would be the maximum.
6.4.
Right,
No,
that's the
7.4.
Yeah.
I thought I heard 6.4.
No, this is
Oh,
the
no.
maximum, and this is what we send to the property appraiser's
We
office.
got you, Madam Manager. We
Okay.
just- Yeah, Citizen Forum is open. Citizen Forum is open. I think we've been doing what we need to do. I don't think we have had any. And I want to thank the residents of North Miami. We really do love you guys. And you guys show that, and we show it too, because the meeting's been going on. Yes, Scott, that's right. We could do the dance. Thank you, Citizen is closed. Wow, we good. Reports.
Come on, yeah.
Did somebody coming up? Were you coming?
Well,
Oh.
you wanna do ours last? Let's do ours last. Madam Clerk, any report?
Well, no report. Happy recess and safe travels to you all.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney. Don't mess it up, Jeff.
Yes, Mayor,
Oh.
Council. So we have a case. It's called Intercounty versus GCNA and the City of North Miami. It's case number 2021-026180 CA01. We're approaching the point now where we're discussing settlement, but because we're going into hiatus, this may be a case that we end up, the manager and I, settling and bringing it back as ratification. If we do that, I'm making the announcement now for the executive session so that we don't have to wait till August
Okay.
to ask for the executive session. So if we manage to settle it, then as soon as we get back in August, we'll have an executive session and we'll explain to you the case and what the settlement is. It's just that we're actually meeting with the with outside counsel tomorrow to discuss the settlement. So we should have a settlement, and it will take place during hiatus.
And just so the public would know, just because we are on a hiatus, the manager and the attorney and staff, whichever, they'll be talking to us daily in terms of that. So it's not that they're just going to go out there and make decisions we won't be aware. It would be, in consultation with us. Thank you, sir. Madam Manager?
Quickly, this past Sunday's event, I'd like to really thank the North Miami Police Department and the Parks and Recs Department for having a wonderful, very professional, very well organized, and assisting the Tabernacle of Glory with their march. Thank you.
Madam Manager, you didn't want to put on the record that we're going to extend recess to September? You don't want to?
Oh, really? We are?
We're just trying to push it back. You didn't want to. Might as well come back in September since we have a meeting in we have a meeting every
I
Tuesday
second
in
that motion.
September. So
That's
I
a
don't know if
policy
you wanna
decision.
push
That's
back
not the
recess.
manager.
I just have one report, if you want to call it. During our luxuriously long break, I'd like to ask that
This
we
could be
remove
removed.
these
Yes.
plastic
Yes, we
thingies.
do. I had that in mind in terms of. I said,
That's your report.
That's all I got. But everybody, Pastor Toussaint, Pastor
Bishop.
Toussaint,
Bishop.
Bishop?
Yes,
Okay,
Bishop,
sorry.
I heard.
And everybody else, I was super impressed with Sunday's thing. I know I could only get there for that last little bit.
Bro, we
But-
saw, yeah.
But
and
he was powerful, and the crowd was into it, and there were, NMP, there were no issues. That's hard to pull
Yes.
off an event that big. So congrats.
in that last minute, and I would remiss in terms of the pictures, but the Miami Herald, I had a resident who texted me, said nearly 2,000 people. Now, that's, come on now. I mean, just looking at the pictures, because I was actually in New York. We had a rally in New York, but they were broadcasting from around the world live in North Miami. So I saw Councilman Galvin, I saw everybody. I was telling y'all. So they were doing it in terms of all over the world where they had the different sector, but really to Chief, Interim Chief Angel Rivera, thank you with your team. I know it was last minute, and Anisha, Madam Manager, Parks and Recs, Christine, I saw all of the emails, the back and forth, the briefings. It was concerning to the men and women of our great police department, but we did what we normally do with the circumstance, the timing that we had. It was really short. Something that take 3 months, we were able to do it in 3 weeks or less than that. So kudos to the North Miami Police team. Again, Councilman Galvin is done. Councilwoman Timothy.
And I echo the same sentiments. I actually rode with Rivera and his team on the golf cart, and they were superb in crowd control and ensuring that everyone was safe. So chapeau bas, hands down, congrats to the Tabernacle of Glory family, and of course to every city staff who who assisted with the implementation of this march. I just want to remind you guys of we have 2 more pop-up at the parks. We're going to be this Friday, and we're going to end it off at Catney Park with some water fun. We're going to have some water slides, so bring your swimwear and all that good stuff. And then we also have a back-to-school supply drive going on right now. So for anyone who wants to donate for our back-to-school supply drive, you can visit City Hall and the Police Department, and looking forward to seeing you guys at our back-to-school bash in, August 14th, which is a Monday, and I think it's evening, so. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. And I forgot, you normally don't have report, but the deputy, the assistant manager has a report. Go on.
All right, well, good evening, Anisha Daniel. Report. First of all, kudos to the Parks Department for a very nice July 4th event. Did a really good job.
Oh,
and
my
it was,
God.
Those fireworks.
They did it. The company did a good job.
Yeah.
Freebie, effective Wednesday, July 5th. We have started our pilot, our soft launch. With 4 vehicles, 76 hours. So we're out there. We will be putting some press release. We're working with the vendor to get press release out. But I've seen folks already riding it, seeing the vehicles out there. So it's going. And last but not least, trolleys. The trolleys will be here the end of July, all 4. We have staff actually putting eyes on the trolleys to make sure that everything is intact.
Awesome.
Hold on, you
guys
said the
are working.
freebies are live right now?
Yes, the
Oh.
soft launch.
The soft launch. And when is the full launch? When you guys are gonna?
The full launch should be, well, we're meeting with them next week to make sure that all is well. I asked them for some numbers today, but they didn't have numbers quite yet. But I'll be meeting with them this week, Thursday, so that we can talk about it and we can potentially go ahead and do a full implementation.
So,
Yeah.
like, I know we talked about like having a call-in center for like residents and so forth.
That
That's
was
all
my
that.
question.
Okay. Just want to make sure it's
But
communicated.
they need, can I say something,
let us know
Madam
so we can use
Manager?
it.
If we could get them to, get that on the radio, please. Because, yeah, and into the senior program and the seniors. Yes, District 4?
Thank you very much, Mayor. Quickly, I will start by saying that we lost one of our seniors from the Golden Senior Program, Yvon Rigo. He passed, and the funeral will be this Saturday, 9 o'clock. So to all our seniors and his family, our sympathy. So anyone who can make it, please show some support. And that's, that is in your district. And July 4th, cannot say thank you enough to Parks and Recs. That was beautiful. I've been going to this event for years, but this year was something to remember. Thank you. And Sunday was very nice. It was a combined effort. Team North Miami was present from the city manager, assistant city manager. Everybody was on one accord, which is good. And to our North Miami Police Department, Parks and Recs, thank you very much. You guys did a great job. The only thing I will add to that, the men and women in yellow, I think they need to train them a little bit more so that they can be more civil. Because it was not nice. It was not a nice experience. They were pushing people all along, and I got pushed like more than 3 times because I was on the floor. I was on the floor. I was not on the car or on a bus. I was basically marching. And even just behind the stage, one of them put his hands on me twice. Those are things that we need to fix. That was a march for Haiti. That was a march to see if we can get things together. And hopefully we're not going to have one in the city soon, but if it is the case, they need to have a meeting so that they at least know some of the people in the city, because nobody want to do anything bad to no one, but we need to fix that. The way some of them were acting was not nice, and we have to be very careful now in Florida, because this is an open carry state. You can put your hands on somebody and then you don't know what's going to happen. Those are things that we need to be very, very careful with. And finally, on a positive note, this Saturday, we are waiting for everybody, the entire city of North Miami. Please stop by at the Judson Center. We're going to have fun, music, food, and a lot for students, book bags, school supplies, and everything. And on top of it will be raffle some laptops, but that will be for our D4 only. So for everything else, everything else, we'll put everybody from the city of North Miami. But for the laptops, just D4. Make sure you bring your IDs and everything so that we can give you a ticket to be part of it. We love you, and we'll be waiting for all of you, and we are going to have fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Before I go into my report, I have a question for both you, the city manager and city attorney. So for CAGNY, we have escrow money that we're supposed to get back from the school board. Is there a report? It was 5 million, right, Jeff? Right. So I know that we were going back and forth. At what point are we?
Actually, I believe that was already decided, I think, by the council. I think the former city manager brought back. That $5 million was, I believe, slated to be used for CAGNY now.
Yeah, but it's on a reimbursement. Like, we can't just draw it
Yeah.
down.
No,
It's
that's from the
100%.
county.
No, the
No.
school board escrow.
Oh, that's from the school
Yeah,
board.
the money that we
Okay.
put in, so originally we put the money in the escrow to cover what the county was going to pay. And we were talking to the school board to get that $5 million back. My understanding was the previous administration then decided to keep that $5 million and apply it to Cagney.
Okay,
That's
so
my
that
understanding.
is-
I don't know if that's changed or not.
Wait, Rich.
So that is the clarification?
So
have we drawn down from it yet?
No.
We have
We
not.
will once we approve the contractor.
Okay.
To do the work. It's out to bid now. It's coming out to bid now, right, Alberto? So it
Did
can
it go
come
out
up
yet
to
or no?
August or September agenda.
'Cause I know we said July, it would go out for bid. So-
While he's coming up, real quick question on that same note, Madam Manager. In terms of the contract, she just asked a very important question. So it's not out yet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It'll be out very soon.
Okay. For Breeze Sweat, I remember last meeting, I was like, can we get it piggybacked and get it going? Because we were just waiting, for it to, correct? We're just waiting for, could you tell me what's going on with Breeze Sweat, please?
We were waiting for the plans to be permitted, finalized, and then
thought they
we're going to
were.
put it out. Again, I think our projected award date was for either the August meeting or perhaps the first meeting in September. We'll have it awarded.
Hopefully it's the August meeting. Just hint, hint. No, it's been almost 3 years now. It's embarrassing. I get email, text, social media attacks on Breeze Sweat. So I'm just gonna keep bringing it up until you guys fix it, because it's just a small little park, and I know we had a lot to do, but yeah. So hopefully it's on August 1. So thank you. So now I can go into my report. Good evening, everyone. We extend a gratitude to all individuals who actively participated in the recent Get in Gear Community Bike, a special event commemorating Parks and Recreation Month. This exciting bike occurs on the second Saturday of each month, and we eagerly anticipate the next scheduled one for October. Our sincere appreciation goes out to Parks and Rec Department and our North Miami Police Department for their unwavering commitment to ensuring a safe and secure route for all our participants. Additionally, we extend our thanks this month to the Water Stop sponsors, Café Crème and the Parks and Recreation Department, the Team of Hope, Greater North Miami Chamber of Commerce, and the Knights of Columbus. Again, I'm just going to echo what has been said earlier. I want to extend a heartfelt gratitude to all those who joined for the Relief for Haiti Sufpu Haiti March. This event held great significance in providing much-needed support for the relief of the people of Haiti who endured numerous hardship in this small island. I want to really, really thank the visionary, Bishop Gregory Toussaint, for his exceptional efforts in organizing this event and deserve a special recognition. I'd like to also express my appreciation to the dedicated staff of our city administration and to our North Miami Police. I really want to thank our chief, Angel Rivera. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to also thank the Miami-Dade Police and everyone else that participated, who played a crucial role in coordinating the event. Thank you for your invaluable support. Again, it just warmed my heart on Sunday to see our community and to have our city being used and as a pioneer for this movement and being seen worldwide. I don't know if you guys realize it. Yes, we had these people, thousands, and they said 2,000. I would say it was more like 4,000 to 5,000 people peacefully, for the most part. I'm sorry, Councilman, besides your little show. Peacefully overall, as we know it, in North Miami, but this was also being held in several states. This was being held in in France, Haiti, I mean, was amazing, just all over the world. And, you know, like this to be North Miami because we're the largest Haitian diaspora living here in North Miami. And it was just so, I just really love to see all of, and there were non-Haitians there supporting us. And of course, our colleague, who wasn't even feeling well, but felt the need to come out that night. So I thank you, and you've been a great support. And this just looks great, and I just love that North Miami played such a positive role in this. Again, thank you, especially the police department. I knew you were like, this route is dangerous, we can't handle this, but I know I pushed. That look, this is meaningful. This is really meaningful. So thank you, Rasha. Thank you for your presence. You were actually there. Anisha, thank you.
The manager?
Yeah, and
Okay.
so I pushed.
I'm saying that's what she pushed. I'm sorry. That's what she said. Okay.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. And that's all of the reporting that I had to say. And of course, Madam Clerk was there as well. Thank you.
Lastly, and I'm going to keep it real brief. Again, I think my colleagues, I share the sentiment of all of them in terms of what's happening. Madam Clerk, you back? Can you please work with IT, perhaps work and see if there's a research, because I thought about this even in my days as city clerk, if we could find ways we could, I know budget is coming now, and I know Madam Manager ain't got no money, but if we could find any ways to improve transparency and efficiency with the voting thing. I know there was, when I was clerk, we were talking about accurating where we push the vote and it's on the screen because residents sometimes don't hear or you don't hear, whatever the case is. At least we need to start moving into the more modern time and, at least start the process looking at the cost if we need to make an improvement in terms of transparency and all that good stuff for the public.
Mayor, we've had that for at least a year, but
we did in the budget.
Yeah, this is what this is, but we just don't have we don't have budget for anything. So we just.
This is the time now, Madam Clerk. Let's make it happen. Work with IT being involved.
For us up here?
No. In terms of us pushing, and then it shows on the screen like electronic voting. Sometimes we're talking, and when we vote, she's calling it out. Something she said years.
It's right here.
It's right there. So we need to make it work. So whatever that is. So at least we are innovative, trying to explore it, Madam Manager, with the Madam Clerk or something, huh?
I thought I was confused. But I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But I thought it was something else, like at the library. I'm like,
No. This is innovation here with transparency for the people watching us. But to echo,
Making sure that elections are reported online
they
for
are.
candidates. No, to do electric, you know how you, so with the county and the state, when you're a candidate, you report your contribution and expenditure online. We don't do that here. We have to type it up and send it in. Yeah.
Again, everything is budget related. We've already explored several of these softwares. We know everything. We have all the information. We just don't have a budget. So as I look for money to self-fund this department, we do what we can. So I've applied for grants and.
Madam Clerk, we're trying to help right here. So if you can, while we are in this season, I haven't seen any numbers.
CIP.
Yeah, something. Whatever, we need to look and see what, and those are good ideas. So if we have them, huh?
We'll have the
AC is broken, so we have to leave.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn in 5 minutes. But I need to stop. But I do want to echo Vice Mayor Irving, Estime Irving, and all of my colleagues. It was an exceptional march for Relief for Haiti on Sunday, and Bishop Gregory Toussaint did such a phenomenal job. I think we understate how short of a time and what was done from around the world. You're right, from many, many different states. I was in New York. It was organized in terms of we do what we do, in different people from different states in Europe, Asia, all over Africa, Haiti, the Caribbeans, and then we went live in North Miami. So, and I didn't know that was going to happen in terms of the messaging and everything. So again, kudos to Bishop Gregory Toussaint, who home church is here in North Miami. That's the significance of this, and also Jimmy Loiseau, the entire staff, each of the coordinators. But nonetheless, our police department, Angel, you and your command team, Christine Carney, amazing, Rasha, Anisha, wonderful, wonderful job, wonderful again. Guys, be safe, have a wonderful summer, and for those kids going back to school, we're not gonna be able to have a meeting until after. Be safe, enjoy your summer, and we are still working, although we are on break. We just need a little break, but we are working. Thank you all, good night. Second that.
Have a motion to adjourn made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Mayor Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now adjourned. The time is now 9:47 p.m. Have a safe summer, everyone.
I would favor it, because it's, this little 4 weeks is not a real biggie, and we're never on